Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Nick. It's Friday, so let's go on a bit of a Friday walk. Now, as usual, because I'm outside and I'm just holding a handheld camera, haven't got a film crew around me, haven't got anyone to hold up big boards to protect the wind or sound engineers. So apologies if the sound goes up and down a little bit here. It's a bit beyond my control if it's the first one you've seen of these, but I'll try and balance it as much as I possibly can. It's all about relaxing and if you saw last week's walk, then thank you for the feedback you've given me there. If the wind gets too bad, I'll have to record it again at home, but hopefully we should be okay. Yeah, so I'd like you to thank you hugely for the support from last week's video, which is a little bit different, where I told you a bit of the history, how I got here, my career history as well. It's a bit of a longer video, and told you about my jobs and all that sort of stuff, and a few people related to that, which was my main aim, really. So if you haven't watched that, have a look if you're interested in that way. The channel's all about defeating stress. I know a lot of us suffer from that, and small things sometimes that set you off, but that's why the community is so good. Yeah, I thought someone's following me then. It's why the community is so good here. We come together, we can talk it over, have a bit of laugh, talk a bit of nonsense, and that was the whole ethos behind starting the channel in the first place. It's also been commented as well on these videos. I know the sound's going to go up and down, so I'm wobbling a bit. It's been suggested that I carry a gimbal with me, which is a big bit of kit to prevent wobbling. But I'm always a little bit self-conscious doing these videos, even now. So it's all a bit stealth, and I do a few clips here and there. If I'm carrying a big gimbal and bigger microphone sound, suddenly I become recognisable and it becomes a bit more awkward to do. So I hope you understand. So it's always going to be a bit rough and ready as we come down to the traffic. It's a bit noisy around here, so we'll talk a bit further up. Hope you've enjoyed the videos going up on the channel this week. Always going to be mostly ZX Spectrum, so I'll do a quick summary of those if you haven't seen them. If you see any that you like, track them down. They're not bad ones. I didn't like all of them brilliantly, but they're always good to see from a retro point of view. No dog walkers so far. I'm out a bit later this time, so maybe that's why. The first one was on the ZX Spectrum, called AAARGH with an exclamation mark. It follows the path of a rampage, I suppose, to a degree, where you must smash up cities to find an egg. I don't think it's based on a true story. You smash up cities to find an egg, and then battle to your cave with the egg. If you're an ogre, then you battle a lizard. If you're a lizard, you battle an ogre. And then you smash up 10 cities, then you actually win. Crazy talk. The second game we covered on that Saturday was Jockey Wilson's Darts Challenge. The previous week we'd done Jockey Wilson's Darts Compendium, so it's good looking at the two. Now, I much prefer darts games like 180 and Wacky Darts. It's just the aiming mechanism of these two wasn't brilliant. It'd have people that sort of like them, but I don't think I'll be going back. Jockey Wilson's a good licence. They did well to get 2 darts games out of him. That was pretty special, wasn't it? But both by Zeppelin Games, I think. But two is more than enough, I think, there. On the Commodore Amiga, we looked at an arcade conversion that we'd already looked at on ZX Spectrum. Rather long name, this one. Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters. The monsters have commentated, or the robots looked a bit like Weetabix Men or Lollipops. It's an isometric game. I preferred the Spectrum version. There was a lot of more robots here that crowded you out. I'm told there's a little tactic there where you should just shoot them all first of all rather than let them all follow you. You have to rescue a scientist called Sarah Bellum, Dr. Sarah Bellum. You can see the joke there. It was quite an amusing game, based on a B-movies 50s style, but it's well worth tracking down. The review was, well, about 17 minutes or so I must have liked it to a sort of degree, but I go for the Spectrum version because the end level bosses seemed a bit better as well on that. On the Atari 2600 we looked at Dr. Frankenstein's Monster. Is that what it's called? Or it might be just called Frankenstein's Monster actually. I'll get a big Pitfall vibe from this, if you're familiar with that game, which is no bad thing. It's over single stages. You must get to the bottom of the screen to collect a brick, jumping over different obstacles, and to brick Frankenstein's monster in before he becomes fully live, fully electrified. Very interesting game. I think it could be considered a hidden gem, because I certainly didn't know about it back in the day, although I didn't own an Atari 2600. It's either a squirrel or a massive polar bear, one of the two. They sound quite similar, don't they? So that's well worth looking at. I mean, Frankenstein, of course, a novel by Mary Shelley from 18-something. Is it 1818? I can't remember. So based very loosely on that, and there's a good mini game between the stages where you're trying to get round bats. On Homebrew Wednesday, we looked at a rather tricky game by Tokusoft. They've done the Dan Terrific trilogy, which I haven't reviewed yet, but it's equally as difficult, which I'm sure I'll come to. But this one we looked at was Ninja Poison. Basically, it's a platformer. You control a ninja, surprisingly enough. You must go over certain screens while your energy slowly depletes because you've been poisoned, and over each screen you've got to find the antidote there. But it's a very quick acting poison. It's a very unforgiving game, so it won't please everyone. It's one pretty much for experts, but it is rather addictive, so you want to keep coming back to that one over and over again to see how far you could get. But you're not going to be good at it straight away, that's for sure. And the last game was on the Super Nintendo, or SNES if you will. A few weeks back we covered Super Star Wars. This is the sequel. I was told before that this one is a little bit easier, Super Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Developed by LucasArts, of course. I found it more difficult than the first one. It follows very loosely the storyline of the film from 1980. It's a run and gun, of course, so they've invented a lot of extra enemies and stuff. You start off on Hoth, and I might have stayed on Hoth. Another one of those games where it's an actual achievement to actually complete that. I think it's easier though than Ninja Poison to complete. So that just leaves one left in the trilogy, which I'm sure I'll come to at some stage. I think you know what it's called, Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi, I think. So yeah, it's a bit of a walk. Sorry if this is a bit, it might be more interesting actually. I gave you the games, I weren't in the same place. There's a lot of people around, in particular school kids. I think they might have just finished school. There's a lot of kids running around for some reason, so I'm going to have to be a bit clever how I edit this, but rather this than be inside, because the outside video is always a little bit more exciting and a bit more healthy, aren't they, really? There's a guy doing laps of this field as well, which is a bit weird. But you know, why not? If you're inside and you're not talking to anyone, you know, bowl out, don't worry about anyone else. Just if you've got a camera, it's a little bit awkward, but there you go. If you've got woodland near you, it's good to go for a walk, I think. Or is it? Yeah, don't worry, this place gets a little bit overgrown, especially, I don't know really, I think it isn't National Trust around here, I don't think, but yes, if there's been a lot of rain, it goes all out of all proportion, but we still do the path. I don't think too many people walk through here. It's not a dog walker's route because it's, well, so awkward, isn't it? Oh yes, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the woodland and the wilderness. I don't think the wind is too bad, although you can't fully tell both my own personal wind and the atmospheric wind. Although we're a little bit whoops, we're a little bit sheltered now as I do a little bit of a limbo trick. Yeah, I mean, is there any woodlands near you? I know a few of you have got places you can go. If you're in the middle of the city, it's a bit difficult, but parks are back open now, aren't they? Without the restrictions and stuff. I think we're coming out of lockdown July something or other. July 19th, is that what it was? I mean, they had the football at Wembley to a 60,000 capacity. Well, not full capacity, but there were 60,000 people in there. I think there's a few people in at Wimbledon, time recording. Yes, it's slowly getting back to per usual. We're in the clearing. I don't know what that is. Maybe an alien landing pad, maybe a hubcap, maybe a frisbee. That can be your competition. So I hope you've had a good week, had great fun in the live stream on Wednesday. I think the football again's on Tuesday, so it might have to be another Wednesday or a Thursday one. But yeah, I always keep an eye on the news, what's going on, it's stories that interest me. You're probably familiar with the film Back to the Future Part 2, where Marty Mcfly went forward in time to the year 2015, and what amazed me the most is everyone was in flying cars. Now in the year 2021, and we still haven't got flying cars, so where are we? But there's a story, now a flying car, believe it or not, has completed a test flight. I think it was in Slovakia, but a 35-minute test flight between airports and landed safely. I'll try and put up a picture if I can do. It's a car-plane hybrid. Apparently it takes 3 minutes to transfer from one to the other, so it's not just like a car, suddenly it takes off, then it lands and it drives, it takes off again. It's a bit of a 3-minute turnaround, but it's progress. I don't know if you caught that story, but they're not messing around with this thing. Apparently it's got a maximum height of 8,200 feet. I always wondered what happens when you run out of fuel on the motorway because you've got dodgy fuel gauge. You can pull over, can't you, a bit, or it slowly clunks out. If you're in the air, it's a bit hard to get to a petrol station. And also, as well, is how much petrol does it burn to fly a car? Maybe it's electrical, but I think it has conventional fuel, but I might be wrong there. Now, do you think you would buy a flying car, or would you not trust yourself in a flying car? Is it a case that sometimes you get a lift from a family member or a person in the car and you think, I'm not safe here, but it gets me from A to B? How would you feel if you're suddenly in an aeroplane? Yes, and also as well, multiply that by lots of people up in the air in an airplane car thing. There could be lots of crashes. I'll need to get a heavier hard hat and all that sort of stuff. So keep an eye on that news. A flying car completes test flight in Slovakia. I don't think it's going to work anywhere else where it's busy, is it? I don't know. They certainly couldn't land here. You have to be a bit careful because you never know, there might be a nutcase or loony around any corner. You know those people in the woods that you see doing strange activities that you wouldn't normally find. Oops, going a bit downhill. We're going to the red rubbish bag, but you know this already. There's always a red rubbish bag there, unless someone's tracked it down and swapped it for a green rubbish bag or something else. So coming out of the woods now, going a bit downhill. I used to know someone that was into bobsleigh. His whole life was downhill. Anyway, that's that joke done. You can have that now. So let's go to the red rubbish bag. Yeah, red rubbish bag, tick. There's a few flies going around it now, so maybe it will biodegrade. Apparently plastic takes 50,000 years to degrade, so if the walks are still going on then we can gradually see it destroy itself. How exciting will that be? Well, not exciting at all, really. Here we go. It always says CCTV in operation, so maybe they do a separate YouTube video with me in, perhaps, maybe. There's a tractor buzzing around. Battle of the thorn bushes. Obviously they want people to come through here. Yes, need to come through with some pruning shears. I must admit, it's not a tractor going around, it's someone cutting the grass, but I do like the smell of freshly cut grass when it isn't too cold. We're put in the middle at the moment. Oops. Right, now let's navigate our way through here. Noise. I'm now competing. We ain't got any wind. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not. I'm now competing against the noise of the large industrial lawnmower, and there was a barking dog a bit earlier on. So yeah, there we go. Now, football. Some people like the football, some people don't like the football, some people a bit in the middle. I did mention there it's not the live stream all around the place, but you can't ignore, I mean, it's tough being an England supporter. I don't know what country you're from, but they do try to make us excited. Then they do a game where everything goes wrong. England got out of the groups in the Euro 2020 game. It's that dog again. in the Euro 2020 game. Then drew, who did we draw? Germany, how could I forget? And we hadn't beaten them in an actual tournament for 55 years since the World Cup started. Well, since we last won the World Cup. And we beat them 2-0. Goals from Sterling or Kane. And now we're drawn against, I think, the Ukraine. It might be happening next Tuesday, so I have to check that to maybe move the live stream again, because a lot of people will be watching that, because we've got a great community. I don't want to live stream where there's only, well, it's happened twice before. There's only like 2 or 3 of us there, because that's a little bit awkward. A lot of the favourites have gone out. France is out, of course, Germany, Portugal, Netherlands, they were playing quite well. Games to go, I think it's, well, I'm recording this before the games have happened really, but I think it's Italy versus Belgium in one of the matches. Can't remember the other one, but England play the winner of Denmark and, no, it's not Sweden, maybe Switzerland, something like that. Anyway, we're supposed to be reportedly in an easier side of the group. Is there any easy sides? I don't know. If you go in thinking a game's easy, you're probably going to lose. So England have got a little bit of a chance of winning, maybe. Do you think? I don't want to get too excited, but at least Kane scored. That's enough about the football, I think. Yes, but what do you think about that? If you have an opinion, of course. Now we're going to come to the members bit. So thank you to all subscribers, but massive thanks to the members, because admittedly, without the members there, I might not be still doing this. I might have to do other things. So thank you. They're all the tiers, and if you're on the second tier above, I'll give you a shout out for anything that you are doing. Now you'll see me quite a lot in these videos looking left and right, because I'm like stealth like, so I think you can imagine now if I was carrying a gimbal and stuff, it'd be virtually impossible. But I think we're sort of okay, but we might not be. Someone could run through at any point. So big thank you to Arzone1255, thank you. Good old Alf Fairweather, thank you. And Una Bjonsson, okay. Jason Smith and Greyhawk Hole 2, thank you fellas. Stu Who, Nikki S, thank you for making the live stream recently. Always good to see you in there, Nikki. Claire Johnson, What Ho Snorkers, thank you. John Roby and Jeffrey Searby, I think you both made the live stream last time, so thanks for dropping in. Steve Norman, now we'll give Steve Norman's blog a shout out. We shout it out every week. It's a cool blog, retroarcadia.blog. This time he's looked at one of my favourite races, Test Drive 2 on the Super Nintendo. Now I liked, I'm gonna get up and walk at the same time, that might be easier. Now I like Test Drive 2 a lot on the Commodore Amiga. I played it a lot there, and oh, my arm's hurting. Yeah, I didn't know it was on any other systems. It's good on the Mega Drive, but on the SNES, it's a slightly different game on both those systems, the consoles, the computers, but a very, very good game. So, Steve, in his blog, he talks about that, also compares it to other games, and then puts down his top 10 races. Now, top 10 races are always controversial because they're unique to yourself, but have a look at his blog, see if you like those, agree with those, and share the same sort of ideas. Steve has a lot of good blogs there. They're quite lengthy as well, with a lot of detail, so get your buzz of retro superness. Thank you, Steve. Big thank you to Lemmy Barnett, Steve Q. Now, massive thanks to you, Steve, for all the help that you've done. You've gone above and beyond. So, thank you, Steve. It's yeah, excellent. Thanks, mate. Thank you also to Phil Hill, Rossi Bossy. Now, Rossi Bossy, you already know, of course, you do, don't you? He's been working on Super 3D Pixel Grand Prix, which I do some of the voices on, but it's nearing a release on Steam, so we're coming to the final product now, so keep an eye on that. I always put Rossi's site above me as well. We did review Nifty Lift, we covered it on the live stream, haven't reviewed it yet, Nifty Lifty 2, which is awesome, and that was the first thing he ever worked on, I think, there, and that was absolute quality. Have a look at Re-Enduro on there as well if you've got a bit of time, but Super 3D Pixel Grand Prix is the jewel in the crown. That's the big one, so that'll be out fairly soon. So keep going, Rossi. From the moment you've actually thought of it as an idea to where you are now is absolutely incredible. I think if you saw the finished product where you are now, or the almost finished product, you wouldn't have believed it, but all that work is yours. You've done absolutely fantastic from where you started from. Life's a rocky road, but you know, you're an example to everyone. An absolutely awesome game in the making, which deserves to be very, very successful. So give Rossi all the support that you possibly can, everyone. He's almost there. He's almost achieved the impossible. Huge thank you also to Chono Baggy. Thank you. Chat with you quite a lot on social media, so thank you. Jason Holmes, Andrew Gibson, Justin Perks. Thank you, Justin. Thank you. And Ratty as well. Nice to see you here, Ratty. Thank you very much. Hope you're enjoying the videos and the live streams if you get a chance. And also Malad, M-A-L-A-D. Malad. I think I pronounced that right. So good to see you as well. As a fly lands on my finger. Is it a fly or is it a flying piranha? No, I think it's a fly. Anyway, it's gone now. My finger's still there, so that is good. So thank you all lot. Really, 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 really. How many reallys can I do? Really appreciated. Yes. Now, massive, super happy, fantastic thanks as well to the upper tier people who go above and beyond, all 6 of you, so thank you. A big thank you to Colin Hode, Martin Reimel. Thank you for all your help, Martin. You know, you're a joy to speak to, all of you, so thank you. Richard Mitten. Don't know if those we haven't had a jelly bean update recently, Richard. You still got the jelly beans, or are they long gone now, that big bag you had? So thank you also to Tom, Graham Vebke, my friend in Australia. Hope all's well, Graham, and you're going great guns as we go into July. And also as well, last but very not least, Jules M, does a lot of vid caps on the live streams as we come through. Now I've got another link for you. It's pretty long, so I haven't written it all down because I couldn't fit it. But the main site is schoolreading70sbooks.weebly.com, schoolreading70sbooks.weebly.com, and then there's a link to it on the main site as well. So it's a / beautiful books. I'm probably saying this wrong because it's such a lot. I've run out of space here. Beautiful books hyphen illustration.html. But if you go to the site, right, it's easy to read. Schoolreading70sbooks.weebly.com. There's a new bit there. So click on the beautiful books bit, the illustrations bit, and there Julie's put together a real nice site or compendium, really. Paying homage to the people that put in a lot of work for these school books, including, well, an example, maths using pinball. It's a very inventive. It might cover as well, you know, when you've got that graffiti in books also. So that might be good to look at as well. And also, it's not just that. If you see anything else you like off that site, if you go to the main site, then click on that, show it a bit of love, have a navigate around. It's on Nostalgia Fest. There's lots and lots to see there. But this time the most recent thing she's done is the beautiful book illustrations. I have a look at that. The wind's picking up a little bit again. I'm going to go up the vineyard now. You can see it's all, I don't know if you can see it from this camera because, well, it's not the best megapixels in the world, but it's coming together now. They've got all the poles in and they're growing the vines and stuff. So thank you for coming on my walk today. Really appreciate it. If you made it to the end of the walk, or maybe you collapsed halfway round, but you people that made it to the end, then well done you. The weather's held out good. Big thanks to the members again. If you want to become a member, then click on the join button. It tells you a bit more information about that, and the more help I get, the closer I get to try and do this full time, as I try and improve as well. I mean, all of you have been really helpful, so thank you. There'll be a couple of videos on the channel on Saturday. Members will know what they are already. A couple of ZX Spectrum ones on Sunday. There'll be a couple as well. Always go out at 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock on the weekend time. So thanks for watching again, and until next time, take great care of yourself. And say, if you're going through a bit of stress at the moment, don't worry, the channel is trying to beat that. If you can get into a live stream as well, you don't have to get heavily involved with the chat if you don't want to. You can sit back and read everyone else's. If that helps you, then you're more than welcome. So till next time, take great care of yourself, and a very fond goodbye. Bye folks. Goodbye.
Goodbye, E.
And Jenkin.